Hello everybody. In this video, I shall be talking about the poem Fire and Ice by Robert Frost, explanation, and the poetic devices. Before we begin, let's give the poem a quick read. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice. By Robert Frost. So, discussing the first stanza, some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. And from what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. Now, what does this stanza mean? Here, the speaker is weighing two different scenarios for the end of the world, how the world is going to end. And he says that some people think that the world is going to end in fire, whereas some people think that the world is going to end in ice. Based on the speaker's experiences, this particular sentence, from what I have tasted of desire. Tasted of desire means his experience with desire. The poet's experience with desire, he tends to agree with those who believe that fire is more likely the scenario to bring the world to an end. Now, what is this fire and desire? Here, by fire, the speaker actually means desire. So, fire here is the symbol of desire, lust, greed. So, the greed of a human being, the poet feels, will end the world, will bring a destruction to humanity. So the human's greed is going to be responsible for killing or for finishing or for annihilating, for destroying humanity. And from his limited personal experience, from the poet's personal experience, the speaker knows, speaker means the poet, knows desire to be a very, very powerful destructive force. So that is why he says that I hold with those. Hold means that the poet agrees. The poet agrees with those who think that the human greed, human lust, desire will bring an end to humanity. And here fire is symbolic of desire, lust, and greed. So that is what in this stanza the poet means, that the world will come to an end because of human greed. Moving further to the next stanza. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice. Here the poet says that the human being's capacity for self-destruction is so great that it could bring about this destruction more than once. So in the previous stanza, the poet says that if the world was to end, it would end because of human greed, human desire, human lust. In the second stanza, the poet says that the human being's capacity of self-destruction, to finish, to destroy, to kill oneself is so great that it can destroy humanity all over again twice, more than once. But if it had to perish twice, perish means to end, to get destroyed. So the capacity of humans to destroy themselves because of the bad qualities they have is enough to destroy itself twice. So the first poet says that because of human greed, lust, and desire, the humanity will be destroyed. And in the second stanza, he says that if the world were to end twice, the speaker feels that human hatred, here hatred is ice, would be an equally powerful method of destruction and would do the job sufficiently, would suffice. Suffice means would be sufficient to kill humanity. So first, the poet says that the human greed will bring about a destruction of humanity. And if the world was to end twice, then human hatred is going to be sufficient to bring about that destruction. So here by ice, the speaker actually means hatred. So ice here is symbolic of hatred, like in the first stanza, fire was symbolic of greed, lust. So here hatred, indifference, giving cold shoulder to each other, not caring about each other, ignoring each other, all these emotions have been symbolized by ice. Ice, because ice has connotations of coldness and indifference. So in this poem, the poet has used two major elements of nature, fire and ice, as symbols of desire, lust, greed, and ice is the symbol of hatred, indifference, non-caring attitude, and coldness towards each other. Now, what is the message that the poet wishes to convey through this poem? It's a very, very simple message. The poet wants to say that ice and fire, though they are absolutely opposite in the literal sense, they are absolutely opposite, but they represent one and the same thing, and that is the destructive forces, the destructive powers which the humans have within themselves, which would eventually lead to the annihilation of the human race, the destructive potential of humanity. So both these elements, seemingly opposite, have the same result, as they have been put here as symbols of negative qualities that human beings have, either greed or hatred. And here the symbol of greed is fire, and ice is the symbol of hatred, and both of them will be sufficient to bring about the inevitable end of the world. Coming to the literary devices, let's see. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire, but if had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice. So the device here, one is rhyme. It is a rhyming poem. So the device is rhyme. Let us just quickly see that how do we form the rhyme scheme here. Let's see. Fire rhymes with desire, fire, then no more. So we will call it A, and A. Now let us see the next line ends in ice. Then we have twice rhyming with ice, and then again ice rhyming with ice, and then the last line suffice rhyming with ice. So we'll call it B, 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 and B. What is left is hate. So let's see here, hate, and we have great rhyming with hate. So we will call it C. So all the lines are done. So what is the resultant rhyming scheme? It is A, B, A, B, C, B, C, B. So rhyme is a device here because it's a rhyming poem. Moving further to the first stanza, some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. Anaphora. Anaphora, what is anaphora? Anaphora is the repetition of a phrase or a word in the beginning of consecutive lines or consecutive phrases. So here in these first two lines, we see some say has been repeated in the beginning of the first two lines, the consecutive lines. Next, we have symbolism, which is a major device used in the poem here. So the line here, world will end in fire. So here fire is the symbol of human desire, lust and greed. Then we have alliteration, favor fire, the initial sound F, which is same, the initial sound. That is what makes it alliteration. And we have assonance. What is assonance? Assonance is repetition of mostly vowel sound, and sometimes we also count repetition of consonant sound in consecutive words in a string of words here. So like here, repetition of the vowel O. I hold with those who favor. So lots and lots of O's are there. Almost every word has an O. So this is what makes it assonance. Next stanza, but if it had to perish twice, I think I know of hate. To say that for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice. Enjambment, I think, would suffice. If you see line 2, 3, 4 and 5, these lines, they form one line, right? Therefore, this makes it enjambment. How? Because if you read it, this is a continuous sentence without any punctuation at the end of each line. And here the poet has done this to create a rhyming effect. So the poet has broken his one sentence into 4 or 5 lines only to rhyme it, only to make it a rhyming poem, but did not give any punctuation in the end here. If you see, there is no punctuation in the end of each line, and this is what makes it enjambment. Symbolism, again, like the previous stanza, in the previous stanza, fire, which was a symbol of lust, greed, desire. Here in this line, for destruction, ice is also great. So here ice is symbolic of human hatred, indifference, cold attitude, uncaring attitude towards each other. So this is symbolism. Alliteration, to say that. To say that, though it is a weak alliteration, but we consider this as alliteration. It is the repetition of the initial sound T. To say that. Though it is a weak alliteration, but this is included as alliteration. Hoping that you liked the video. Meet you with my next video. Till then, keep watching, keep learning. Thank you.